All right, guys, in this video, you're gonna see how Lazyboots is the best way to analyze cities and neighborhoods based on which one is gonna be growing the most and is the best place for your next investment. So let's get into it. What you can see here, I've already added some cities and there's some certain criteria here on the left. Now we're gonna start this again from scratch. But what you're seeing is Dallas is ranked number 1, Orlando number 2, Tampa, Phoenix, Charleston, based on these metrics here on the left side that you can see. And low median house value is the top priority. High population growth, high house value growth, high household income growth, and high median rent growth is the criteria that we're looking at for these specific cities. And the order is based on calculating, given these criteria in this order of priority, how do we rank these cities? And so if I bring median rent growth to the top, you can see some of the cities here changed order, because based on having that be our top priority, we can see that the values might change, right? The cities might change as far as which one is the better one for these criteria. So what's cool about this is we're basically asking a question here that says, which of these cities that I inputted has low house prices and high growth relative to the others? So this is kind of like asking, which is the best value? How can I get in low for a city that's going to keep growing and is going to continue to grow, right? And so that is what we're kind of asking here. If I change this to high house value, we're going to see, okay, these cities now are ordered based on the pricier houses and still growing. So, maybe you want to get into luxury, right? And so maybe these cities are better for like a luxury investment, but the low house value cities are better for kind of a buy low, sell high, for lack of a better, metaphor there. And so what I want to show you is how easy it is to kind of ask these questions, because I've built it so that in this criteria pop-up, when you hit edit, there's these presets here. And so the one we're looking at was cheap high growth. If I click on cheap high growth and close this window, you can see that these are the same that they just were, right? Nothing changed. But let's go into educated newcomers and watch these checkboxes here. When I click on educated newcomers, you can see that they changed. We now have selected bachelor's degrees and population growth as our 2 criteria. And when I hit close, we're going to fetch that data. And basically, we're prioritizing high population growth because we want to know that people are coming into the city, and high percentage of bachelor's degrees because we want to make sure that the people are educated that are coming into the city. Now, does it mean that the people coming into the city are the ones who are educated with bachelor's degrees? Not exactly, but the two are, if they're lined up, then if they're both growing, if they're both high percentages, then it's a pretty good assumption that we can make, saying, okay, the people that are moving here are being educated because the percentage of bachelor's degrees continues to be high as the population is growing. I'm going to dismiss this for a second and show you some of these other presets in the meantime. So educated newcomers, right, is a good metric to know. Young incoming workers, right? If you want to know where the young people are moving to who are working where there's jobs, right? That's another good metric to look at. Price to rent ratio, right? Everyone loves that price to rent ratio. That could be a good one to look at as well. And you'll see, I'll show you in a second how this all changes. Price to income divergence. This is one I kind of like. It's going to show you areas where cities in this case, or even down to the neighborhood level, where household value, the price of the houses, hasn't gone up as much as the household income in that area. And so if the income is on the rise and the house prices have not risen yet, then it could show that, hey, maybe these prices are going to start rising soon because the income in the area is going up. So, okay, here are the 2 metrics we decided for educated newcomers, right? Population growth, high population growth, that shows people coming in, and high percentage of bachelor's degrees means people are educated. And so this is the new order. Based on these criteria, we can see if that is what matters to you the most, Scottsdale might be your top choice, and maybe Charleston would be your number 2. And if you want to click in and see the details, you can click in and see the details that population has been growing, and 4% over the last 3 years, and the percentage of bachelor's degrees. So this is a really interesting way of comparing cities based on what actually matters to you, right? You can go ahead and save the cities that you like based on your criteria, and we will be adding features shortly that will help you use the cities, faster access to the cities, and dive into the neighborhoods a little bit faster. So go ahead and hit a favorite now if you like, and there's a lot of more features to come. And what's really cool is that once you pick a city, right? Let's say Scottsdale is the city we chose. Scottsdale is over here. Phoenix is this one down here. That's interesting that these are so close together, and they're ranked actually on opposite sides. I haven't seen that before. But let's dive into Scottsdale, which starts down here but goes all the way up. We're gonna dive into the neighborhoods now of Scottsdale using the same metrics we just were using. So we were looking at educated newcomers. I'm gonna select that, and we can see that it automatically checked bachelor's degrees and population growth, automatically marks them both as high. And so let's come here to Scottsdale. We know that Scottsdale kind of goes up like this. So I'm gonna come a little bit north of Scottsdale and then give it a decent sized radius. Let's give it 7 miles. And this is gonna pull these criteria for all of the neighborhoods within that radius in Scottsdale. And so we can see, okay, if we wanna find the neighborhoods to invest in and buy properties in, where the educated newcomers are moving to, right? High population growth and high bachelor's degrees, these neighborhoods are the order that you kind of want to start looking at. So we can see the more educated people are kind of here up in the north, and then some, of course, kind of downtown. But down in this lower, southern area, maybe not so much, right? So if that's your criteria, then start looking in those areas and properties in those areas, and you can ignore properties down here. Let's look at cheap high growth. I think that's an interesting one for all markets, right? You want to know where you can buy houses that are a little bit less expensive and also growing. And this is interesting, right? So it's now showing the opposite almost of what the educated newcomer preset was showing us. And so super cool, right? Maybe it's not going to be the best place to move into if you want to be in an already established educated community. But if you're looking to buy into a community that's on the rise, this criteria might be better for you. Now we do have some flags here of some values missing. So rent growth here is missing for several of these locations actually, right? We're still working on getting as much data as we can. We don't have data for every single neighborhood of every single city in every single state, right? So it's a process. But even without rent growth, we can even just take it out real quick. You can see it doesn't change much. So these areas, South Scottsdale might be a better spot to look into if you're trying to get in a low house value but a growing market. And what's amazing about Lazyboots, you can do this for any city in the United States. So I invite you guys to play around with it. Take a look at the cities you're looking at. Send me an email, send me a message, leave a comment in YouTube down below saying where you're looking and what the criteria you're looking at. And of course, any questions you have, please don't hesitate. I'm here to help you guys. So thanks a lot, take care, good luck, and enjoy Lazyboots.